this is the Assos headquarters in Switzerland. Although if you look just over that way, Italy is actually about 150 metres away. Now, the reason we're here is actually to pick up 4 very special Speedfire time trial skin suits. And since we've made the trip though, we thought it'd be a great opportunity to actually see how they're made and then also find out why they're made. Because in answering that question, I think you're going to find out some really quite surprising things about the brand. There are a few brands in cycling, I think, that conjure up quite the same feelings that Assos do. There's certainly an aura of mystique about the brand, but the more I actually learn about the history of it, the more I realise the impact that it and its founder, Tony Meyer, have actually had. Now, this building here is just for sales and marketing, so we're going to grab a coffee and then look, something a little bit more interesting. No disrespect to sales and marketing, but you know. Ooh, cake. Production is just down the road. Through the factory outlet store. For avid fans, there are some absolute classics lurking in here and still up for grabs. But our journey takes us upstairs. Up here, we're going to find out what got Assos started. Ta-da! A bike. And not just any bike, but the world's first carbon fibre aerodynamic bike. How many of you are expecting that? Honestly? Okay, so a bit of backstory now. Meyer, the founder, was pretty much born into the bike industry. His grandfather had actually opened a bike shop in 1890, so you could see that clearly early adoption of cycling technology was in the blood. Meyer then went on to become the Swiss importer of Shimano in the 70s and the owner of a small pro team. But it was in discussion with a few other big names in Swiss cycling that conversation began to turn to aerodynamics. Because you see, as sports fans, they were already familiar with the aerodynamics arms race in skiing and in motorsport, but they recognised that very little had ever been done in cycling. Until this, the result of Meyer's time, his resources, his ingenuity, frankly, and also his ability to pull together the right people. Because the carbon fibre had to be sourced from the aerospace industry, and the space industry in fact, which is not easy during the Cold War. And then also his contacts in the aluminium world allowed him to design the first ever aerodynamically profiled rim. Unfortunately though, despite the fact that this bike performed well in the wind tunnel, they realised that as soon as they put a rider on it, that actually that was the main source of drag. So firstly, they tuned the position, hence this quite incredible saddle to bar drop that you see here. But then, Meyer also turned his attention to the clothing, because wool isn't very aerodynamic. Who has ever seen a fast sheep? So Meyer spoke to his friends in the downhill ski racing world, who just adopted a space-age polyester fabric called lycra. The skin suit was then born, as was the lycra short, very quickly adopted by the cycling world. In fact, within just a couple of years, 10 out of 19 teams in the Tour de France were not only using Assos shorts, but had actually bought Assos shorts. Fast forward then, a casual 40 years, and we get to this, the Fenomeno skin suit, designed in collaboration with the Swiss cycling team for the 2016 Olympics. A skin suit exactly like this that was used by Fabian Cancellara, of course, to win that time trial. Now, it's inarguable that this is a direct descendant of those skin suits from the 70s, and all of these custom-made ones are done so right here in this building. So I think we should go and have a look, see just how they're made. Step 1 starts, or can start if your name is Fabian Cancellara, with the fitting process. Now, I'm lucky enough to actually be receiving the same treatment. Perhaps it's because they noticed my minuscule biceps might need some additional tailoring. But anyway, Fabiana here is the person responsible for all the measuring and tailoring. She's fitted many of the world's top riders, collecting their key measurements that will ensure that the skin suit is as aero as possible. No wrinkles, no flapping fabric.
So in this case, we have to do a little bit the shorter.
Take in the legs, oh
yes,
no.
Yes, maybe two sizes.
Okay. So what do we do with those measurements then? Well, we actually start to make a garment, and that First step is here. It's like an Aladdin's cave, not just for an Assos fan, but for any cycling kit fanatics. This is the cutting room, and you can see over there, there is a stash of material. In fact, come on, let's have a look. We can't get too close because Assos actually create their own fabrics in collaboration with their suppliers. And so if we get close, we'll probably be giving away industry secrets, but you'll recognize, I'm sure, some familiars. So that's the waterproof fabric of the stern prints there. Then over here, we've got the quite recognizable insulation from the bunker jacket, but then here, this is for us. This is our aerodynamic fabric. So it's like a 3D woven fabric. There's quite a texture on there, and that's for its aerodynamic properties. So with our fabric, we then take it out and we put it over here on the cutting table. It gets spread out, and then a rough cut is done before, over here, you can see that, for me, frankly, terrifying bandsaw. There we go, look at that. Apparently you could lose a finger. And so all the individual pieces that make up a piece of clothing get cut there. You can do a pile up to 40 high, but if you get any more than that, then you start to lose the quality. Now you'll notice that this isn't a particularly big cutting room for a brand the size of Assos, and that's because most of their manufacture is actually done over in Bulgaria. What happens here are the smaller runs, so the club kit, the custom kit, BMC's kit, GCN's kit, and also the prototyping, which explains why there is that huge stash of every material that Assos make. Then, I said it was an Aladdin's cave. If that's not enough, this, for me, really floats my boat. This is the Assos archive, right? So every piece of Assos clothing is stored in here. Come on, have a look. This is a gem that I found earlier on. Oh, here we go, right. This is one of my particular favorites. It is the Air Block tights in red. Yeah. I think the time is ready for, oh, these are the short versions. These are the knickers. Red tights. About to stage a comeback. Place there. With our freshly cut bits of material, we then go here to the sublimation room. It's not exactly a big trip, it's about 5 meters or so. But in here is a process that I had completely taken for granted. Now, Nicoletta there in the background is marking up our cycling kit. She's been with Assos for 28 years, in fact. And what she's effectively going to do is turn a plain white piece of material into the colourful cycling kit that we know and love. And like I say, it's a process that I'd completely taken for granted, but actually it revolutionised pro cycling. And it was invented by Tony Meyer here at Assos. And it ushered in a change from those really simple, blocky retro jerseys to really complex jerseys. So without sublimation, you wouldn't have the V Claire jersey, you wouldn't have the Mapei jersey, and you wouldn't have the GCN jersey. And so what happens is our plain white material then gets placed over a transfer. You can see that's the mirror image of the GCN kit. Then it goes on this table, and this machine here heats it up to 205 degrees centigrade and at a pressure of 8 bar, squashes it down for 45 seconds, and the end result, it's almost magic. Quite breathtaking, in fact. Now, you'll notice something from before, which is that we've actually been sublimating the white bits of material, and the shorts are black, so you can't sublimate those. So instead, what Nicoletta's doing is actually applying transfers. You'll see the GCN logo is going on the shorts right now. And this machine operates at a slightly lower temperature, 143 degrees centigrade, and a slightly lower pressure, just 5 bar, and in fact, slightly less time, just 10 seconds. Okay, so we have to wait for it to go cold. Then now, it's going back in just for a final little bit of time, 3 seconds. Let me give you a little bit more Assos trivia, shall we, before we get any further. We've just seen the logo being applied. So apparently, there's quite an interesting story behind this. So Tony Meyer wanted a logo, so he went to a design agency in Zurich. He wanted something that was Swiss, that had the Assos A and that conveyed Swiss precision. So this is what they gave him. But then, after they sold it to him for 1,000 francs, they then tried to buy it back off him for 10,000 francs a week later, because it turned out that Swiss Air actually wanted it. And Meyer obviously said no. So here we go, the Assos logo. not the Swiss Air logo. From transfers, we're just going to pop upstairs to the sewing areas. Now, rather than one person sewing all the component parts together, different people are responsible for different sections. So firstly, our freshly sublimated upper section is sewn together, and then the zip is put in. Looks like quite a funky bit of kit at the minute. It, of course, needs a zip before it has the shorts attached, and that is this lady over here. Buongiorno. Grazie. Well, I've never seen that before, an elastic zip. Then we've got our shorts. The fabric has the leg grippers bonded on. Very important moment now, the marriage of shorts and jersey. Are you ready? We're ready. Now, I hope you didn't think that we wouldn't have a chamois to sit on, because yes, even super aero skin suits get a comfortable chamois. This is the Assos S7 insert. Look at that. One, exceedingly fast, very slippery Speedfire suit. I say it's fast, obviously no one at GCN is going to make it go that quick. Not a retro yellow Fugu jacket, nor red airblock bib tights, but 4 GCN branded Speedfire skin suits. Oh yeah, now what can we do with these? Actually, before you start thinking about that, we have actually got one last appointment that we've got to get to. So I need to jump in the car. Not that one, this one. Now I have spent all day at Assos, but there is still one person that I've been dying to meet. And that one person is this man here, Draya Zamboni.
How, Simon?
Hey, all right. Now, some of you may recognize Andrea already, but for those of you that don't, Andrea, can you do the pose?
I can try if I can do again.
There you go. Look at that. It is Assos, man. Amazing. It genuinely, you've been the face of the brand for what, like 12 years now, but you were keen to stress to me that you're not actually a model, you're just a bike rider and a pharmacist by trade, right?
Absolutely, I'm just a sportsman, so I'm not a model, I'm just a rider like you.
Can you give me any tips how I can be like Assos, man?
Well, seems pretty good.
Yeah?
What about
yeah,
six packs?
I don't have a six pack.
Okay.
Because you're in good shape because you're not just a cyclist, you're also a triathlete, right? You just happen to be the world age group Ironman champion.
Yeah, twice. Yeah, 2004 and 2011. Yeah.
Clearly a talented man. Yeah, Andrea, thank you so much for coming to see us.
No, but you have to do the...
Oh, sorry, one more. Yeah, of course. This one.
Huh?
How's that?
Let me... Yeah, okay, a little bit more because you know the camera.
You need to see that. You need to see the shorts.
Yeah, exactly. And now six pack, please. It's perfect. Wow. Thanks. We have the new face.
Okay. Right. Well, thank you so much, Andrea. Do make sure you subscribe.
Okay.
To GCN.
Just 2 hours. Stay 2 hours like this, yeah. And then we can do a break. Okay. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Yeah. Time.
Okay, do make sure you subscribe to GCN. To do that, just click on the globe. And if you want to see some more videos, if you just click down there, you get to see how to dress for the mountains, or click down there and you get to see how to ride in hot weather. It's seriously, can I untense? Can I relax?
No, not yet.